You're probably wondering, can a real estate agent give me financial advice? Well, guys, hang in for the answer here because I don't think they can. But here's why. All right, so maybe you have a real estate agent giving you financial advice right now, or maybe you're just wondering if they can give you financial advice. I'm gonna give you some words of warning because right here, this can be very dangerous. I'm gonna tell you why right now. So here's the thing, real estate agents are not licensed to give financial advice when it comes to like stock market type of things, right? You gotta make sure you have somebody, if they're gonna give you stock advice, they have the same certificates. Do they have the securities licenses like Series 6, 63, 7, 65? Are they an RIA or are they this or that, right? All these kind of little numbers and certification you might have. You know, a CFP, like Certified Financial Planner, right? If they don't have that, technically they cannot give you stock market financial advice. Now, if a real estate agent is giving you real estate, purchasing advice, that's what they're supposed to be doing, right? That's what they're licensed to do. This is the thing, guys. To a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So when a real estate agent, if they're telling you where should you put your money, often they're going to say, buy a property from me, right? Because that's where they get paid commissions. A financial advisor is going to do the opposite. They're going to say, don't buy that real estate property, buy from me, which is really what they're saying is buy these stock or mutual fund type of investments or bonds, or whatever it might be, because that's how I get paid. And so be aware of any advice you get in general. You have to ask the question, where are they getting paid? Where do they get their money? How do they get their money, right? What's going to really slant their advice that direction? Now, it would be interesting to see if a real estate agent would give advice, financial advice in general. Now, if they're giving you the general advice of like, hey, you should budget, here's things you can do to help your credit score, when they're working with mortgage brokers, things like that, that's great, that's fine. That's financial advice I think is perfect, because there's no licenses needed for that. Like I said, the main advice you want to look out for is if they're trying to give you like retirement account type of advice or whatever it might be. Knowing a lot of real estate agents, I know very few will ever go this far. So if they're going to give you financial advice, it's usually more basic advice that would surround you being able to afford a home or be able to purchase a home. Even if they're talking about trying to build up your credit score, obviously it'll be a mortgage broker. They'll probably talk to you about that instead. But they might give you some advice that they've learned over the time. But like with any advice that you're going to get, especially if it's whether it's solicited or not, right? Whether you ask for it or not, with any advice, take it with a grain of salt. Understand where their perspective comes from. And this is why it's okay to ask for multiple perspectives. There's no secret here that I'm not a big fan of the stock market. Even though I used to be a financial advisor that was telling everybody the stock market was the only way to go, I was even a stock trader and I coached people how to trade stocks and options. Naturally, I was kind of a fan of the stock market, especially up through the mid to late 2000s. But as I started to learn more and more, as I started to get more advice from different people and started to learn different things, I started to sway more towards the real estate side. And then from real life experience, I started to see the long-term effects of what happens when people invest in the stock market versus investing in real estate. Now, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not licensed to do that. Yes, I have an insurance license because I've held that for 22 years, but I'm not an investment advisor anymore. I've got rid of that license. I got rid of that in 2005. So it's very clear that when I do this channel, when I'm giving you guys advice or counsel, I'm going to say, you're going to have to consult somebody who is that professional if you want to buy mutual funds. I'm not going to tell you to buy mutual funds, right? Heck, I'm not even a real estate agent. I'm not even going to tell you to buy real estate because I'm a real estate agent, I'm going to tell you the stuff that I just think is useful that worked in my life and for hundreds of my other clients' lives too that help them create financial freedom faster than this traditional way of saving in 401ks and IRAs. But remember, a real estate agent, they're not there to give you the advice in the stock market. They're really just there to give you maybe some generic financial advice. Now, this is the other thing too. Like maybe you might hear a real estate agent say, oh, that 401k, pack money in that 401k. You might want to ask yourself, where do they make their money, right? And this is something I also ask of financial advisors. Where do they make their money? Because many financial advisors, if you really get them to be honest and say, listen, are you able to retire off your investments, not off the commissions you make off of me and other clients like myself, but can you actually retire off your mutual fund investments? The answer is inevitably going to be no. Very, very rarely. Now, maybe if they're in their 70s or 80s, maybe they've got enough saved up. But here's the other thing. Here's the kicker with financial advisors. Let's just say you get one that maybe is in their 50s that say they could actually retire, and they're being honest. Maybe they really could. If they could really retire, I doubt it, but let's just say they could. For the most part, they aren't able to retire because the stock market made them so much money. They're able to retire because they made so much money off of you. The number one investment, and this is true of real estate agents and financial advisors, the number one investment where they make the most money is in their business. It's in their agency, right? It's in their brokerage. That's where they make their money. They make the money telling you what to do. Now you might be saying, okay, Chris, but isn't that what you're doing right now? I'm sure you're probably making money off of this. I'll tell you, one, I don't really make much money off of YouTube videos, hardly at all. But if you like and subscribe, I could. I might make a couple bucks. I can go to McDonald's now. Woohoo! Just saying. But no, like I'm not making money off of these videos. And yes, I do make money off stuff. I do help coach people to help them be able to create passive income now. But I'm here to tell you this. I started to teach people about passive income and doing that after I did it myself. That's the big difference. Most people go into those professions as a real estate agent or as a financial advisor. They go into that profession with very little to no knowledge up front. They start investing in those things after the fact. By the way, key fact here, most real estate agents don't have rental properties. I know this might be a shocker. Some of them don't even own a home, right? So be aware of the advice you're getting from those people. It's always going to be based on their lens, their perspective. This is why I personally like my perspective a little bit more, because I know mine's been tried and true. It's been proven because I've done it. I've been able to retire twice before I was the age of 40 because I was able to create enough passive income to be able to live off just the investments, not actually living on you guys, so to speak, right? That's all gravy for us. Now we're just trying to do this because we want more people free. We want to liberate more people. But remember, real estate agents, they're just there to sell you a house. That's all they're doing. And for the most part, they don't even have investment properties. So if they're trying to get real estate investment advice, be aware. Most of them don't even know how to invest in real estate. I've probably invested in more real estate than almost any real estate agent you talk to. Now, I know there's just exceptions. There's some really awesome real estate agents out there that actually practice what they preach, but it's the vast minority. Most of them do not do that. Most of them have probably been in the real estate business long enough that they've built up enough income to then invest in some other real estate. But even then, guys, even then, I have often seen that the real estate properties aren't that great. They're not doing that good of a job. So just be aware, even if you're looking for real estate investment advice, I would go for somebody who actually has that real life experience, right? That's what I like to do. This is my own personal mantra for people that I look to for advice. I like for people that have been there, they've done that, but they've also still be doing it today. I don't like the people that have been has-beens. I don't like the people that have been there, done that, but they're not still doing it now. People that are still doing it today can give the best, wisest counsel in your life. So if you're looking for advice, again, look for people that are actually doing the thing that you want. If you're looking for somebody who retired young, listen to somebody who's retired young. By the way, that's this channel. Like and subscribe, Money Ripples channel, right? Do that. You know, if you're looking for somebody who actually is a great stock market trader, find a good stock market trader, somebody who's actually still doing it now, still making money in the market, not just from teaching you to make money in the market. If you want somebody who does great with real estate, great. Go find somebody who's a great real estate investor, somebody who's doing it and has been very successful at it. I'll tell you, one thing that bugged me is, like, I saw on social media recently, I saw somebody posting, they said, and this guy is great business owner, helps a lot of people in the business world, but then he starts giving his own financial advice, right? And he gives the kind of vanilla advice of pay off your debts like credit cards and cars and stuff. You know, he tells you that make sure you have a budget, make sure you're lean, all stuff that I agree with. It's all good stuff, but it's very vanilla. It's the stuff that you've heard for years. But then he starts talking about, here's where you put your money, 5% in Bitcoin, 5% in gold. And then you're going to put 20% in the stock market, 20% in real estate, 20% in cash. Actually, no, I think he said 20% in cash, 20% in real estate, and all the rest in the stock market. Now, this guy does not make a lot of money in the stock market. And also, most people are talking about the stock market have only made it in the last 15 years because the last 15 years, the stock market's gone up. Just so you know, normally in a 15-year period, the stock market will go down 6 years and up for 9. That's typically what it's like, or maybe 10 years for every 5 years. We've only had 1 year in the last 15 that's been down. We're at least 4 or 5 years overdue for a down market. So he's telling people, hey, put money in and dollar cost average, which that's a whole nother video on its own. Dollar cost averaging is a lie. At least the way that they teach it, it's a lie. True concept if you actually buy when the market's crashed, not after it's going up. But they tell you dollar cost average, throw money in. He's giving all this vanilla advice that every financial advisor, every Dave Ramsey advocate has said, yet hasn't worked. You got to be aware, even if somebody has good advice in one area, may not mean they give good advice in the other area. Same is true with real estate agents. Do not trust that just because they make good investment advice, maybe they're good on the real estate side, but then they try to give you advice on the other side. Take it with a large grain of salt that you might actually choke on. That's my advice for you. All right, so I already mentioned here, we're the best at passive income. If you want to know how to do that, go to moneyripples.com, and you can even find out how much passive income you could create by clicking on the passive income calculator to see how much passive income is possible in your life in the next 12 months.